All right, so I ended up not putting that footage in the previous video. So the video you're about to see is how we got up till this point. And then hopefully we'll pick it up from here and we'll get started on that right after this. All right, so here we are the next day. I was so proud of myself last night coming up with a solution. And about 1 in the morning, I woke up and realized, you dum-dum. You can't get the steering box out of an 1850 because of that front damper on the crankshaft. But I have a workaround from that too. So I think what I can do is pull the shaft up out of there, and that'll give me room to get the steering box out. But it's a little bit extra work than what it would be if it was a Waukesha tractor. But that is neither here nor there. I will continue this process, I guess. So we will take the sheet metal off, and then we will work on getting the radiator out. I'm not going to take the grill off. I think I can be fine, you know, working around that for no more than I have to do here, but sure. The nice thing is, if I put you right there, I'll block the shot the whole time. Come on. Well, it's time to sit down and be sad. Dang it. Come on. Garbage. Factory. They used a rod to hold the front of the hood down. I'm thinking so that they thought it could flex a little bit, but whatever. I forgot about my blue fan. Somebody in the comments said, why aren't you using that? Well, because it was out of sight, out of mind. I had it in the other part of this shed. So I have it set up in here, and with the other one, we got a nice cross breeze going, but yeah. So it's miserably, miserably hot and humid. It kind of rained a little bit while ago, and now it's very muggy and miserable. But I got the radiator out of this, and as I dreamt, it's pretty close. You can't pick it straight up out of there, but I'm not so sure that once I loosen it, I can't take the gear out, that I won't have enough clearance in there to move it forward enough to get it tipped out of there. If I don't, my plan B is I'm just going to take that shaft up out of there. I think that will work, and then I can get that out without disturbing it. And then I can also get in there to get to those front bolts, because it turns out that the biggest problem on that is the steering box. And that is why on my other one I had no trouble, because the steering box isn't in that other one, and it gave me that space there to get my hand in a lot better. So that's what we're gonna do. We're also gonna clean this all up, because this is nasty. I mean, it's been leaking for a long time. He also had a lot of trouble with this cap getting loose and backing off there, and he said when they farmed with it, they'd have to stick a wrench in there every so often and tighten her up. So yeah, we're gonna try to make that more better so that don't happen. But I've tightened it up for him, and I don't remember if I Loctited those or what I did, but at any rate. I'm gonna have to do some cleaning before we ever get to this, because there's just so much junk. So at any rate, we are not nearly as far along today as I thought I would be. I was really hoping that I could, you know, have the oil pan already on. And I'm looking at my situation here with this steering box, and I wonder if that hasn't been welded and modified, which I think it has. So we're gonna have to figure out what we're gonna do, because good grief, people. I mean, that's kind of a, I don't want to say a weak link, but it kind of is. I've had a lot of trouble with them where I've had to do stuff to make them tight. The 1855, the frame is mangled up, so it is what it is. I think I had to just bolt it solid on one end. They're supposed to be like tapered pins, but you know what I'm saying. I mean, it's just, that actually looks to me like it's broke out of that link. So I can probably just pick the steering box up, and then we'll figure it out before we put it back in, what we're gonna do. Anyway, that damper is just enough to ruin our time, but the steering box is in the way. That's, at least, like I said, if you had small hands and whatever, you could probably get in there and do that, but I couldn't. I'm gonna need this extra room. I didn't want to have to pull the motor, because I didn't want to waste time, but an 1850 is a different animal. I mean, it was a pretty good animal, I think, but nonetheless, yeah, look at all that trash. All that trash. So anyway, I'll get this cleaned up, and then we'll see where we stand. This might be enough for video right here, in which case we'll just call it, and then I'll see you next time. Well, I can't wait anymore. I gotta see. Those are really loose again, so they vibrated loose. But I gotta see if I can get this box up out of here. I can't quit on a mystery, or I'll lay up all night thinking about it, whether what's gonna happen to me. Of course, that won't just pop out of there. Where did I put my, I don't even know where I put my stuff. This'll work. It's kind of tapered like. Come on, get up out of there. Come on. Come on. Suction, see? That can be your problem. I'm having a lot of trouble. There, it broke the suction. Maybe. Alright. Now I gotta get that plug out of there, which is equally painful. And it's in there with hydraulic pressure, you know, suction holding it. Come on, you plugs. Play nice. Play nice. Struggle bus it all the way.
20 minutes later.
I have not had a struggle with one of these like I'm having with this one. It must just be because of the heat again, making it difficult for absolutely no reason.
Eventually.
Ah, you piece of shit. That was the worst one of those I have ever had to get out. Camera's too hot, but so am I. Jeez, that was ridiculous. Let's see here. Let's make it bigger. Come on. All right, another day, another failure. We're gonna see if we can't get that up out of there somehow. What's troubling me is that this link, which you can't really see, it's underneath of that part that sticks out of the steering box, holds your steering box centered. Normally, I was thinking there was a nut on the top side of that, which on this one, because of this huge damper, you don't have a lot of room. So it is possible, I guess, that it was different. But what I'm thinking has happened is somebody has welded it solid up here, and what I'm going to have to decide before I put it back together is what's the best thing to do. So I'm not sure what people's thinking was here, but it might work out for me to be able to get it out today, because I'm thinking that if I just lift it, I think I can maneuver it out of there, but I might be wrong on that, because there's nothing. So it's going to hit that just enough, but it's not really attached to anything. So that's where I was the other day, and I forgot to bring me a pry bar. I was going to try to hold down on that link. If I can get it all out of there, get everything cleaned up where you can handle it, then I might be able to figure out what my plan of attack is going to be to put her back together the more better way. Like right now, I'm just practically pulled through that link. So if that link was down a little bit, I think I could tip this box out and get it out of here without fooling with this. I don't really want to fool with that because I'm sure it's going to open up a can of worms that I don't want. The less stuff I can disturb, the better. And that's what I'm operating under here. Let's go around and try to take the box loose. Right here, somewheres, is the nut that holds the pin on this side of the link. I'm working down where you can't see, so there's really nothing that I could do here for you other than just you take my word for it that it's pain in the old Knudsen. That's the theme of this video. Pain in the Knudsen. I'm hoping that this comes out of there just right easy, because if it doesn't, like if I have to really warp on it to get it to come out of there, we might also have a problem. I think we're going to be on that regard. Got the nut off of it. But how tight is that link in there? It would be so much better if everything wasn't just covered absolutely with oil and grease, which, yeah, I could have washed it ahead of time, but really I don't think I could have got in there to where I'm at. It's just a taper pin, but I'm sure it's not just going to jump out of there just nice as can be. It's going to be a struggle. I'm so close, you know? So close. I can't really... Alright, so what I'm going to try to do now is I'm going to get a punch and I'm going to try to drive on the underneath of that pin, that link, and get it to pop out of there. I think if I get it to pop loose, we'll be on the right track. I just need this out of here. If I can get it out of here to assess what we have, I can figure out a way to do this much more better going back together. Plan C is still to pull that shaft up out of there, but if I don't have to do that either, I may not. That's what I'm saying. It's just a matter of, I just got to figure out the right combination of what I want to do, because it looks like it's been modified, you know. That's always the struggle. When it's been modified, like right there, I'm pretty confident that that's been welded, but I don't know that for sure. It may be that it's, I don't know. It's hard to find one these days that hasn't been cobbled on in some way, you know. But this has got to come out of here, because look at the oily mess that it is. It has been doing no favors for us at all. That damper might come right off there, but I don't know if that's a risk I'm willing to take. It might be way more involved than what I'm thinking. Alright, so we finally had success, and I managed to get that out of there. And I managed to get the steering box partly cleaned up to start with here. So I gotta look up in the parts book and see if there's something different about the 1850 that I don't know. But I'm guessing that somebody had a bad time at one point and they hammered this over, but maybe I'm wrong. Maybe that was the way they work, because you just don't have the clearance like you do on the other tractors. And I looked at my 1755 and it looks like this pin is pretty far through there, you know, like about like that. So I don't know exactly what I'm dealing with here, but I know that almost every other one I've seen has a nut on top, and maybe that broke off and it's been hammered into submission over top. I don't know, but I'm gonna look up and see if there's any mention of anything like that. But I can see why that's necessary, because you don't have the room in this one. So if that's the case, then it's not like I'm remembering it. I mean, it's not too awful bad with free play, so yeah. See, this one's tapered like a tie rod, and your frame hole's tapered, and it's supposed to go down through there. And I know my 1855 is messed up, and it's just bolted through there solid with a regular bolt. So we'll just have to figure out as we go back together that we have the best that we can be, because I don't want it cobbled up. He's a good customer, spends enough money that we want it the best it can be. I don't have a problem with reusing it like this, because it was working and it was tight in there. I just want to make sure that's what we got, and then we can reseal this. I got the kits already the other day in the mail, and this thing is just horrendously, it was covered with with like an inch thick layer of stuff. I've washed it off and got it down to bare metal again, wire wheeled it and everything else. But anyway, the GoPro just ran out of battery, but there's gonna be like a day's worth of cleaning in here and in my work area because it's getting pretty trashy. So I'll get this all cleaned up and ready to go. And then I think in the next video we will have starting to go back together, you know, oil pan, rebuild steering cylinder, put that back in, put the tractor back together. Because now, see, we have all the room in the world to get up under here and operate our ratchet from the top side, so we can do the oil pan. So that's where we stand. I think the first thing I'm going to do though is clean, because that's just too nasty to keep working in. So we'll get that all cleaned out, and then hopefully next time, like I said, stuff will be happening and things will be going back together. Do you suffer from low intelligence and are easily entertained? Well, then hit that thumbs up button and leave a comment. And that way we can keep making entertainment that your feeble minds can understand. As always, thank you for watching, and I'll see you in the next one.